So she made me invest in my first, so we purchased 12, so 1 to 2 a year. If you guys sock away 30, 40, 50 grand, buy that property. So here's the thing, in 5 years, that's turned into $4 million in rental assets. It's my long-term hold strategy, because think about it. I have 12 rental properties. If I couldn't work today and I didn't have my team, do you see this number right here? $4,000 a month. That's all that 12 rental properties bring in. So it's not a plan to survive, it's a plan to thrive when you're 60, 70, 80 years old and you have these properties, but it's great to invest. And we just purchased our first house on Utah Island in South Carolina. Woohoo.
Have next, Tina Caul. Tina Caul, so it's funny, I actually credit myself for starting this relationship, by the way. Through Instagram somehow, you know, but it worked out that way. So her team, she has about, I think, 30 or 40 agents now, massive organization in Raleigh, North Carolina. Year-to-date volume is 356 million. Her career volume, and by the way, she was also listing and selling property on her own individually, 10 listings a month, okay, when she was in production. She is a savage. Okay, don't let her cuteness fool you, okay? And she speaks Greek fluently. She wrote and sang a Christmas album, and she also presented a TED Talk. Tina Caul.
Savage. Oh, I love it. Well, should I make everybody stand up? Because I really want that really cool photo that Jeff made. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Thank you for having me. I'm excited. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, perfect. Well, I'm going to take you back a little bit while they get this ready. So it's 5 a.m. I get out of bed, and I run to the gym. Come back, take a shower, get ready, get in the car, get to my office at 7:30 in the morning. Nobody's there. I'm the only one in the parking lot. Remax. There's probably 300 agents in my office. Run upstairs, making sure I get on the phone at 7:30, because if I miss the 7:30 call, I owe $1,000 to my partner who's waiting for me. 7:30 to 8, I'm role playing every single day, 5 different role play partners. 8 o'clock comes around, we say goodbye. 8 to 11, I'm right on the phones immediately trying to make 10 conversations an hour. I take a 10-minute mindset break right at the top of every hour, walk around the building real quick, kind of, whew, this is fun because everybody loves prospecting, get right back into it. 11 o'clock, I'm done. I'm trying to make an appointment every single day because I was an agent that let the day happen to me, and then I figured out how to go out and hunt and make sure I get those 10 listings a month. 11 o'clock, I'm done. The day is over for me. I've done the hardest thing I could possibly do, but from 11 to 12, I'm checking my emails now. 12 to 1:30, I'm going to lunch because I have to eat. By 1:30, I'm in my car, and I live in my car from 1:30 to 7. Does that sound like anybody in here? Yep. Eating in your car, talking in your car, laptops in your car. 7 o'clock, I'm probably done with my last appointment. I roll into the driveway 7:30 p.m. Lots of days it was dark out. Missed dinner, missed tucking my son into bed, but guess what? I have to be on a mission, right? Mission for my family. So that was my life, selling 130 homes a year, making $1 million a year, right? So everyone's like, woo, you got to make that money. But what do you have to give up for the money? And that's what I want to talk about today is leadership and leverage. So I was first slide, my love. All right, so my story is 23 years old, real estate found me, just like it found Dean. I bought my first house, and my first agent, Jill Bomarito, said, you'd be good at this, you should get your license. And I said, I'm not a salesperson. And so she chased me for about 6 months. I was a nanny at the time. I dropped out of college because college wasn't for me. I was a terrible student. And so she said, I'll pay for your license, come and work for me. I said, fine, okay, I will. So at 23 years old, I got my license. My first day in real estate, I was driving to the office. It was September 11th of 2001. So that was a scary day for me driving to the office for a new career, and a scary day for the U.S., right? So my first 7 years as an agent, I was an average agent, I call myself, because everybody in my office sold about 15 to 20 homes. That was me. I would go down the hall to listen to Tom Booz talking to a client, and I would copy it. And that's how I learned. That was my tribal knowledge. And then all of a sudden 2006 came, before 2008, and in Michigan, where I lived and grew up, the market started to crash, and I started to sell $60,000 short sales. So I was making $150,000 as an agent. I thought I was rich because I grew up in a very poor family. My parents never owned a home. I never was able to shop at a store and buy something new. We shopped at yard sales. So I grew up in a family which I absolutely adore and love, and I love that education that it gave me. But I grew up in a family where you make $100,000 a year, you're rich. So I felt rich, and then the market tanked. And I went, oh my God, I have to do something different. What the hell? I don't want to sell real estate and make $40,000 a year. And so I was actually leaving the business, but I met a magical fairy, Mike Fairy. And I went to this, it was actually a room about this big, and I was sitting in the back of the room where I usually felt the most comfortable. And the people up at the front kept saying, I'm making $300,000 a year, I'm making $400,000 a year. I'm like, what are these crazy people doing? They were prospecting. So immediately I said, I can do that. If they can do it, I can do it. I'm no different. So I signed up for coaching. That's where I took my business back from $40,000 to $150,000 in literally 12 months because I knew I could walk into my office, pick up a phone, and make a call. And so my world shifted. But what really shifted was Mike taught me that I could think bigger. I could leave my little town. I could actually move wherever I wanted. I lived where the wind hurt my face for 7 months out of the year. Anybody feel that over here, right? It's freaking cold when you're putting lock boxes on houses and your hands are numb. So in 2009, we moved to North Carolina. My husband left his job as a car salesman. I left my job as a real estate agent, and we packed up our 4-year-old and we said, we're out of here. We want sunshine. And at that time, we were making a couple $100,000 a year as 29-year-olds. So we were doing well, and our parents said, you lost your mind. What are you doing? So we landed in North Carolina. The first 6 months, I sold one house, and I said, what the hell did we do? We might have to go back. But I loved the sunshine so much, I stayed the course. And that second 6-month period, we sold 33 homes. The next year, we sold 55 homes. The next year, we sold 85 homes. The next year, it was 100 homes. And for 6 years, I did that grueling schedule that I talked to you guys about. My marriage was not so good because I was working like a dog because my husband didn't understand, why do you work so hard? We don't need this. But I went back to that time where I was shopping with coupons with my mom, and we had to leave the grocery store because she had a 25-cent coupon over here at the Meijer, and we needed to buy bread. So that's what drove me. Fear drives me. Fear of being broke, right? So he didn't understand. I understood, but I did it. I was a warrior for my family. And so I went from those 130 deals, and I woke up one day and I said, now I'm burnt out. This was 17 years in the business. And I said, man, I got to do something different. This sucks, because who of us has been on vacation and you're watching your kids at the pool and you're on the phone going, I gotta negotiate this offer. Who's done that before? Every hand should be raised, right? Or you're on vacation with friends and you're like, I'll be right there, and an hour later, you're right there, right? So we all miss that leverage in this business. So next slide. When you think about your job, and I think about my job, what real estate teaches us is that we have to do all the jobs, right? Could you imagine opening up a Dairy Queen and you're the cashier and you're the person in the back stocking the shelves? And they teach us in real estate that we should do everything. And then we're burnt out and we wonder why. So when you think about this list, I was the listing coordinator, buyer coordinator, field worker. I put up my own signs and lock boxes. We had those Remax signs that I had to like hop on, the little metal ones. I was the ISA. I was the prospector. I was doing inspections. I was the marketing team. I was doing sales training. So could I do it all? Do we all do it all? Yeah, we do it, but could we do it effectively? And so when I think back, knowing what I know now about leverage, I lost millions of dollars because I took the grunt work of all of it. And so that's what I want to really talk about today. Next slide. So time is money. So the rich exchange their time for money. So think about a doctor, an attorney, somebody that's highly educated, a surgeon. You can't just call a surgeon and say, well, you don't have to come in today. We'll just let Sally do it. The surgeon has to get their butt out of bed and go do what they need to do because they are the person that has the skill, just like us. So the rich know that they exchange their time for money, but the wealthy, they own their time. So when I think about my job, I couldn't leave my post and go make money, right? Can all of us walk away from our business today for 2 months and make money? Some of us in here maybe, right, if we have a little passive income, but most of us can't walk away for 2 months and not answer their phone or we'd be broke. And so that's what we really want to focus on. Next slide. Good job, Dean. You're doing great. So you got to go back. You're messing it up, Dean. Hold on. I'm going to help you. Hold on. Don't touch. Don't touch. We're going to do this. Okay. We're going back. Okay. So we're going to go back to the right. Just touch right there. Okay, good. You're doing so good. You're doing a great job. All right. So my real estate coach, I was with Mike Ferry for 15 years, and I learned everything that Mike Ferry ever taught. I think he's an amazing coach. Tom Ferry is his son, so a lot of you know Tom. My old mantra, my coach sent me that. It's a little card. It's still on my desk today, and it says, if it's to be, it's up to me. Nobody's coming for you, right? I mean, your mom, your dad, your grandma, no one's coming to push you. It's you that has to do this. So I was that warrior for my family. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make $1 million a year. I have to do this. But at some point, you burn out. And so again, I learned leverage. Next slide. So my new mantra is that little tag is still on my desk, but I crossed out the me, and it's up to we. So today, I was able to take everything in my brain, because I know a lot of you, who's been in the business more than 15 years? Raise your hand. Okay, good. A lot of you in here. You have so much knowledge in your brain, and you're not monetizing that knowledge by sharing it with other people so they can go build businesses and help you grow while you're helping them grow. So these are my amazing people on my call group team, and there's 60 of them today. And so most of us get into real estate because we're entrepreneurs, right? We bet on ourselves. An entrepreneur, the definition is a person who organizes and operates a business or businesses taking on greater than normal financial risk. So give yourselves a pat on the back because you're the risk takers. You said, I'm doing this. It's up to be. If it's to be, it's up to me. And so I believe there's 3 leverage pillars in all of our businesses. There's systems, tech, and people. So we're good at systems. Like everybody has a listing system, right? When you list a house, you kind of know what to do. When you work with a buyer, I have a system, right? All of us are really good at that. We're great at that. Tech, we all have our tech. We have our CRMs and we have our little widgets that we use. We're pretty good at tech. What we're not good at is people. Because, you know, if you have to hire an assistant or if you have to hire somebody for your business, you start going, I don't know if I can build a business. I don't know if I can have an employee. Who would be scared to hire? Who doesn't have an employee right now that they actually have on salary? Raise your hand. A lot of you. So I believe that people is it. So 80% of agents don't know how to leverage the most important one. So my new mentor taught me about leverage. Next slide, Dean. Thank you. So what's the secret to leverage? It's hiring the right people at the right time. So I was also with Keller Williams, and there's an amazing book that Gary Keller wrote, The Red Book. And he talks about hiring your first assistant. Who has, raise your hands real high if you have an assistant. Full-time assistant. Perfect. So I hired an assistant. And I thought that assistant would change my life. And she did to a point. But I think I hired the wrong person. What I would do today, if I was any of you in this room, is I know I have to prospect every day. Yes? Do we all have to prospect to build our business? Every day you have to be on the phones. I can almost guarantee that every single human in this room is not prospecting 3 hours a day, making 30 conversations consistently. Yes? Yeah, lots of head nods. Some are. These 2 guys in the front, they do that. Yeah. So if you're not building your business, who's building it? How does it grow? Because if I open up a restaurant or a Dairy Queen, I have to advertise. I have to get people in the door every single day. So if the catalyst is me for the growth, why aren't we doing it? Well, it sucks. That's why we don't do it. It's terrible. So the next slide, Dean. The first major hire, you can go to the next one too, because we said assistant's wrong. For me, if I'm in this business, and I think a lot of you in this room make really good money, the first hire would be for me a growth partner. So if I go rewind the clock and it's me on the phones for 3 hours a day, when I left that post, and I think Jeff was talking about this, that it hit him. When I left that post, my business wasn't growing because nobody was on the phones making calls for my business. And so rewind back to 2016, I hired an ISA, an inside sales associate. We're all inside and outside sales associates in this room. So you hire that inside sales associate, it's $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month, and you give them a 5% override on all of the appointments that they make you. Now, how do you train that person? You sit them right next to you and you say, we're going to make calls today. We're going to call expireds. We're going to call FSBOs. We're going to call our past clients. We're going to call around just listed, just sold. You teach them every script in the book, and you make them your partner. And then if you decide ever that you don't want to do the 3 hours a day, or you do the 3 hours a day with your partner, but then you leave the office, guess who's there for another 4 hours a day building your business? What will eventually happen is you're going to have so much business that you're going to be forced to grow. And that's the beautiful thing. Imagine coming back to your office and saying, hey, Jeff, I've got an appointment for you. In fact, I made 2. And you're like, cool, I could do that. Now, hey, I've got another appointment for you. And now all of a sudden you're losing your mind and you've got opportunity. And when you have opportunity, now you can bring other people into the fold, right? You can build for yourself. Next slide. So eventually, again, we have too many leads, and that's when it's time to bring on a partner. So I think people sort of do it wrong. They get an assistant, and then they get really busy. And then they're still the ISA. I was the ISA for a really long time, and I didn't understand how to grow. So I would encourage everybody to start finally building that business so you can earn. Next slide. So a lot of times, so talking about leadership, I was a terrible leader in the beginning. If any of you have ever started to grow a team, it was me selling 100 homes, and I went, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. Can somebody just come take these buyers? And so I hired my first buyer's agent. And I know you hired a buyer's agent 12 years ago. I don't know if this sounds familiar, but it was like, here, take everything away from me. I got my weekends back, and I got my nights back because somebody took the buyers. And so that was a beautiful thing. But the problem was I wasn't pouring into this person because I didn't have time. I was a part-time leader. And so when you think about your business, you've got your business over here, and then you've got this team, right? You're building this team. And looking back at it, I was building a team and bringing people on, but I was servicing my business over here of 100 clients. How can I pour into these people and be a great leader? I can't. I'm a part-time leader. And so I have this Dairy Queen, but nobody's managing it. So if you have too many opportunities, think about buying leads. Buying leads is not a bad thing. The ROI is amazing on it. You're putting money into your business and you're calling those leads. What's bad is doing what I did, buying leads and then never calling them. I know some of you are smiling right now because you do that too, right? Because you're busy. So if you have an ISA, they're calling your leads. But I did that. I bought leads. I didn't call them back. And so again, if I were to do it again, I would hire my ISA, create all those opportunities. Then I would hire a buyer's agent or 2, but I would hire a manager. Because the money over here, my business, is funneling to grow my brokerage, right? My team, my leverage resource. Right now, I can go on vacation for 2 months. My team's going to sell 80 homes a month. I don't sell homes anymore. It was a wonderful career for 17 years. But the money over here, as you guys are in this seat, right? You're the highest earner of your business. You have a job right now as an employee. But if you walk away from your business and it fails, you don't have a business, you have a job. And so what I want everyone to understand is when you want to actually scale, especially if you've been in the industry for a long time, when you build this business, which is team, opportunity, your money funnels it, and you hire that manager. A manager's 60, 70 grand a year. It's only a few deals for some of us, right? So now you've got that manager, and that manager is building your team. They're recruiting, because you have to be a recruiter when you're going to build a company. Every company has a recruiting department, HR department, ISA department, every big organization, right? So you have to think about, I'm building a company. I don't have a job, I'm building a company. So when you build that company, you've got that manager now that's recruiting agents and building. It takes about 20 agents to get out of production. So think about, what is our average commission check in this area right now? What's our average? Like 20,000? 14, 15,000 on an average commission check, right? So again, hire an ISA, $2,000 a month, give them a 5% override. That ISA, if they get you one deal, pays for themselves for almost the year, right? Think about that. So you got $14,000. You're chasing a $14,000 commission check, which is amazing. But if you chase an agent and you build an agent, and that agent for me sells 16 homes on our team, we make about $32,000 after all expenses. So if I bring 10 agents onto the team and help them grow, that's $320,000. If I bring 20 agents to the team, it's 600, plus thousand, 640,000. So do the math, right? We're chasing people so we can help them grow and then bring back our time. So you go into that CEO role. Does that make sense? If we're going to grow. So right now, today, again, since 2009 to now, 15 years later, we do have call groups. So in the last 4 years, we grew to 62 agents. They will close 1,000 homes. I couldn't do it without them, so we're in that role. But I want you to think a little bit bigger, because it was me selling 20 homes, me selling 130 homes, but there was a max capacity. We get to max. I think realistically, a lot of us shouldn't be selling more than 50 homes a year. That's a lot of homes. That is a lot of business and a lot of money. Where can we buy back our time to spend some of that money to scale ourselves? So I want to think scalability. So we work hard for the money, and the key is to buy back our time, putting the proper leaders in place, and you never stuck having one stream of income. That used to haunt me at night, that if I got sick, I got cancer, I broke my leg, I couldn't go up and down staircases, get in and out of a car, and I've had that happen to friends. I could never go show a home. I'm out of business. That used to haunt me. So I wanted to create streams of income. So I started the business, had a new coach, and then I'm going to take you guys through just what happened in a very short amount of time, which is 6 years. So millionaires, what he taught me is that millionaires have 7 or more vehicles of income. Not one, because you can become a millionaire. In fact, if you read The Millionaire Next Door, teachers can become millionaires. Why? Because they're good at storing their money and not spending it. So it doesn't mean you have to have this big successful business. It means you need to be smart. But millionaires have multiple streams of income. It's how many income streams do you have right now, and how many can you guys grow? So I'm going to show you guys. I almost didn't show this today because I thought, okay, these people don't know me. I'm from North Carolina. They don't really know my story. So they're either going to judge me, and this next few slides is going to either turn you off completely or inspire the hell out of you. Because again, like I said, I grew up really poor. And I don't know about you, but I grew up in a house where they said money doesn't grow on trees. Who's had that? Yeah. Like literally my relationship with money is that people that had it were evil people. Like that's what, right? And you just didn't talk about money. And my passion is talk about money. It's a vehicle. It's just as important as the blood in our body, right? You keep blood in a bank, you keep money in a bank. You have to have it to survive in the world that we're in. So I'm going to show this to you because I want you to be inspired, not point fingers and be like, who does she think she is? But be inspired, because your impact in the world is how much money can you make, but how much can you turn around with the money that you earn because you've reached your potential to go out and help others. So I've bought both of my parents' homes. I've retired both of them. I've helped my brother. I've helped charities. I think of money in a way as a vehicle to do what you really want to do, because here's one thing. If I ask each of you privately after our talk today, and I come up to you and I say, money is never an issue for you. You've got $1 billion. You've got it in the bank. You don't even need the money anymore. If you think about this question, I want you guys to write down the answer. What would you do if you had billions of dollars and you didn't have to work for money anymore? And when I ask people that question, you know what they say? I would go help people in need. I would go help. I would go help. I would go help. So humans go back to I would just go help. And so that's really innately what we all want to do, but we can't because we're forced to go work and we have to go make money. And then we're stuck making money and buying things that we probably shouldn't buy half the time. But you know what I mean? It's a vicious cycle. So first slide, I had to show this because it's a disclaimer. I work for a company that I have to show this. So you all saw it, took a picture of it. Don't turn me in. Next slide. All right, so from one stream of income to 10. So 6 years ago, I had one stream of income. Go sell a house, Tina Caul. Get out in your car and go haul and show and sell these people something. Today, it's 10. So the team cash flow. So our team earned $9 million last year. I didn't keep it all. $9 million, half of it went to my agents. They kept $4.5 million. So I felt very proud that we were helping people grow their businesses. The other $4.5 million came in, and we had overhead, expenses, and all the things. So $1.9 million came to our family, and then we had to pay Uncle Sam on that too. But again, when I was an individual agent earning $1 million and paying Uncle Sam, I kept $700,000, and I did all the work. And if something happened to me, God forbid, that money went away. Today, that 1.2 or 3 after you pay taxes stays in our family's account, and I'm in a different place where I can help more people. So We've got stocks and 401ks. So 15 years ago, my father-in-law said he said basically take 10 or 15% of your income, put it away in stocks. So if you guys aren't doing that, getting rich is boring. It's really not sexy. It's so boring. It's the things we don't want to do, the save the 10%, the put it away in the stock account, the buy the little residential property that only cash flows $200 a month. It's those little things that we don't do, but compound over time. So over the last, 15 years, there's over $800,000 in an account. And I went, how did that happen? So because I'm not a stock person, but I do know what's what, Dean? 8%? 8% per year is the average, right? Whether the stock accounts go down or up. All right, next slide. So stocks gifted from my firm. So I happen to be blessed, work at a firm that if I do my job and I sell 27 homes, I get my cap back. So if you explore different options, I want your mind to be open to where can you make cash flow every single day. So that has been, in 4 years I've been there, 700 grand. Invest in what you sell. I have an agent on my team who has 95 rental properties. She was a client of mine, an investor. She has 95 rental properties. And 6 years ago, she went, you make too much damn money and you haven't even bought one. And I was like, LaDondra, you are right. So she made me invest in my first. So we purchased 12, so 1 to 2 a year. If you guys sock away 30, 40, 50 grand, buy that property. So here's the thing. In 5 years, that's turned into $4 million in rental assets. It's my long-term hold strategy. Because think about it. I have 12 rental properties. If I couldn't work today and I didn't have my team, do you see this number right here? $4,000 a month. That's all that 12 rental properties bring in. So it's not a plan to survive. It's a plan to thrive when you're 60, 70, 80 years old and you have these properties. But it's great to invest. And we just purchased our first house on Daughtah Island in South Carolina. Woohoo. Airbnb, one of the assets we turned into Airbnb. The payment was $1,300. It cash flows at $3,700. So now I'm like intrigued with Airbnb. If you have a rental property, think about it. Can I turn this into cash flow even more? It's better on the property. It's just a fantastic opportunity. So Airbnb investments. Revenue share coaching income. This is only for people that love to coach. So the company I work for, I can coach people and they pay me. So I've brought in 1 agent a month in the last 4 years at my company, 1, so I'm a terrible recruiter. But that's turned into 1,300 people in a group called Access. That's how I know Dean. Dean is one of my partners. He did find me on Instagram. It sounded really creepy the way he said it, but it was during COVID and he was like, I'm moving out of New Jersey. I'm out of here. Don't tell your mom. Yeah. Anyway. That is coaching pay. So think about that. I spent $149. I'm at this company. I bring people in. I help them. I coach them. I train them. And that company pays me $58,000 a month. I don't know about you, but that's a good return. So next slide. Syndications, because of the group that I'm in. So think about the circles that you're in. We talk about rentals. We talk about investments. So these are group investment funds. So I put in $100,000 in a fund. I own 300 units in Texas. And it's a group fund. So we raised $30 million. I'm in that fund. I get checks every quarter. I don't have, the heat doesn't go out. The tenant's not doing whatever they do to the properties. It's the easiest thing and the best return on my investment. So I didn't know anything about that a couple years ago, and I do now. So syndications are fantastic investments. Next slide. Referral network. So whether you're at RE/MAX or Century 21 or whatever, I am a passionate referral connector. So if you have a referral to Raleigh, think of us, because a lot of you all moved down to Raleigh. But make sure that you are working those referral systems because that is great cash flow every year for us. Affiliate agreement. So this is a new one for me. So if you go to my YouTube page, I have a free training. I've been free training for years. And on there, if I say Mojo Dialer or Espresso Agent, guess what? I have an audience now, what Jeff was talking about. Build an audience. Grant Cardone told me when we sat next to each other at an event, he said, make sure people know your name. You build a brand, you are the brand. Not your company, not your brokerage, you are the brand. And when you build audience on Instagram or YouTube or wherever, all of a sudden you can use that audience to leverage yourself. So for all those people that raised their hand 15 years in the business, coaching products. I have a friend, Amy, you can follow her on Instagram. She created a little listing book, and she's been an agent for a long time. That little listing book, she makes $100,000 a month. She sells it for $197. Think about that. Why? Because agents are desperate for information. We're like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? We hold our knowledge like this, tribal knowledge. You have to just go through the ropes, kid. Figure it out. We don't share. And the reality is, ever since I started sharing everything I do, I'm an open book. You want my stuff? Call me. I'll give it to you. My income went up. Abundance. It's abundance mindset. We all don't share because we're like, oh, they're going to steal my thing. You won't outwork me. I can give you everything. You're probably not going to do it like I did. So there is no competition, right? You're your only competition. So now if I say an affiliate agreement, they send me a percentage if somebody buys the thing. So when you think about that, that's like an influencer. And I can write that off. I can even write these shoes off now because I have affiliate agreements. How crazy is that? Our new tax guy told me that. Title company, if you have a team, title company, we do a lot of transactions. So you can own your own title company. If you do 60, 70, 80 deals a year, talk to your title reps and jump into that business because they want your business and they want to keep you. And there you go. So again, I know you guys don't know me. This is not to say, oh my God, look at what I did. This is that I didn't know this was possible because nobody showed me. Nobody talks about money. They don't talk about different things. They don't talk about leverage. As real estate agents, when they come into my office now, I sit down with my agent. I say, how are we going to grow your business, your brand? How are we going to bring you multiple streams of income, Mr. or Mrs. Agent? Because it's not just you working for me. It's working for yourself. We're partners. And how do we grow? So I have agents on our team that have 3, 4, 5 different streams of income. So I hope that inspired you guys today. Thank you for your time, and to you all.